Welcome to another episode of the Tower 26B Race Radio Podcast. I'm Jim Linsky here once again with Coach Jerry Rodriguez. Coach, we are live on Facebook Live once again. How you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm kind of nervous, to be honest, because as you see, we have a guest in studio. I don't know if he's familiar to you, but he's a multiple-time Ironman finisher, multiple-time marathon finisher, some pretty quick times in the marathon. He's a Tower 26 swimmer. He is an athlete, and he knows his way around the kitchen. Gordon Ramsay. Gordon, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you both. And a talented cook with that as well.
I guess you could say that, right?
I can make a great scrambled eggs.
Scrambled, okay.
Beef Wellington.
Oh, here's the thing. I don't see any plates in front of us right now, Chair. You know, the guy could come over here and bring us some of his treats. He's a world-renowned chef. No, it's great to have you in studio, Gordon, and we're excited to be on Facebook Live.
I'm concerned
with the masses. What?
I'm concerned because Gordon is the guy that's used to being in front of the camera. We have no experience at this. You might lose your job here.
So, come on, honestly, this is an audition for this guy to become a regular on the show. And you are going to convene after this and see how he does.
But you guys are going to get me back in the pool tomorrow morning. In fact, we're on the beach swim tomorrow morning.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
The whole reason we asked you on the show is to wear you down a little bit so you don't kick all of our butts in the ocean tomorrow morning.
That's not going to happen, trust me.
Well,
that's my son right now, Jack, who's turned into a beast.
He's on fire, isn't he?
He's on fire. Jack, slow down. Give your dad a chance. Make him look a little bit more respectable.
You know what? Bring him in the kitchen, see what he can do. And we'll have a 1v1 in there. But hey, I hope you're not nervous, Gordon, because we're heard in 150 countries, thousands of listeners around the globe. Countries like Canada, the UK. What do we have here, Jerry? You wrote this write-up on the UK, Canada. They're fighting for first, second place.
Well, Canada and the UK have been battling it out for second spot, swapping back and forth. And when you went to New Zealand, you remember you bumped up New Zealand's listenership.
I do have that effect. I have that effect, yeah.
Gordon is obviously going to take care of the UK here.
Yeah. Oh, is that an English accent? I couldn't place it. I mean,
born in Scotland, but I grew up in Stratford-on-Avon.
Gotcha,
so
okay.
Literally next door to Mary Arden's house. Had William Shakespeare drilled into me on a daily basis.
So we're looking forward to some verse. All right, what's your favorite verse? Hamlet, where are we at here? Othello?
I've forgotten it all already.
Of course.
Too busy training, Jim.
You know what? I like that. I was testing him with that one. But no, we're excited to have you on the show. We're going to learn some interesting things about nutrition, how you prepare for racing, how you prepare for training. Jerry, let's get into what do we speak about last show first so our audience who's watching, who might be a new tuning in to Tower 26B Race Radio Podcast, can hear about what we speak about on the show.
Well, we had Paul Newsom, which we're very fortunate to have from Swim Smooth, the owner of Swim Smooth. And that was sort of the get to know Paul episode. And we're going to invite Paul back because I think we now need to get under the hood and get into the details of things such as front quadrant swimming that Paul is Paul and I sit on the same line with that really doesn't have its place in the sport of triathlon swimming, at least. So we're going to scrub away at some of that in some future episodes. But the last episode was with Paul and getting him introduced and making sure that our audience knows him and get him prepped up for the next
He
show.
really pumped up that Australian audience. So let's see if Gordon could do the same thing for the UK and they can give the US a run for its money. It's all about competition here, buddy.
Yes.
We're
all competitive. I think being competitive is healthy.
Yeah.
I think, that level of pressure is healthy. It's how you handle that and divide and contact. So, I love pressure. Also, I love that level of competitiveness. That takes place in my life on a daily basis.
That's funny you say that because I didn't notice that in the shows that I watch. I never notice any kind of competition or anything. That's sarcasm, Jerry. That's all sarcasm.
Those light-hearted documentaries on how not to run a restaurant. Let's not forget they asked me in there.
Yeah.
Okay. They asked me in there and they give me crap for serving crap. Well, how does that work?
You know what? What's on my mind and my burning question, I'm sure the millions of viewers right now are, when is Hotel Hell coming back? That is an amazing show. Jared, have you seen this show, Hotel Hell? I'm sorry to go off on this, but I had to ask you because my wife and I look forward to that, I think, last summer. Yes. Every time. Are we going to get that show back?
So I have 3 daughters and a son. Megan's 20, Matilda's 16, and twins are 18. And they said, Dad, do you have any idea how many times you embarrass us? Because in that show, Hotel Hell, you're naked in the bath.
Yeah, oh God.
I do not want to see clips on my mates' phones of you freaking naked in the bath.
Oh, that's great.
Dad, stop it. So 24 Hours to Hell and Back is the latest one that we are just about to start filming season 2. I go in undercover. I have a recognised forehead with wrinkles that I woke up one morning, Matilda's putting pound coins in my head, playing Connect 4.
I don't know if viewers can see this. You have a beautiful forehead.
Yeah,
He's
so
talking about himself.
I need to go in disguise, and this new show is about getting in disguise. We set up the place for CCTV cameras before I get in there, so I've got the collateral damage already, and then I get straight to the point in 24 hours.
I don't know how you do it. I didn't believe that you actually go into some of these spots. So it's interesting how he definitely gets to the point, Jer. Speaking of, let's get to the point of the show. Let's start getting into this guy. See what he has to say about this. That's what I'm here for, to keep the show moving. I'm the Pat Sajak of the Tower 26 B Race Radio podcast. So let's get into him and find out some things.
Anytime that somebody comes to LA, or I get an email or phone call, the first question, it's not, hey, Jerry, how you doing? It's not, what could I do to improve my swimming for triathlon? It's, hey, is Jim there?
Yeah, you know what?
I mean,
you are the Superman of Tower 26.
You know what?
You spin into a wetsuit, you spin out, and you become this phenomenon.
So you know this. It's actually Speedo. I just never take the Speedo off. I actually coach on deck.
At my age, I can't wear Speedos.
You can wear Speedos. I've seen this guy in Speedo. Yeah.
Trust me, I cannot wear Speedos. Again, my daughter's dad, those budgie smugglers. What are you doing in a pair of Speedos? Get some shorts on.
So it's funny you bring up your kids, because our producer, Christoph here, who's producing this great show, him and his wife swim at lunch every day at the pool, at the high school where we train. And he's wearing Speedos. His wife's wearing a little, speed bikini.
Yeah,
and all his kids go to the high school. So while they're in school on their lunch break, they're walking around the pool deck in their Speedo and bikini. If my parents did that when I was in high school, there have been no more high school.
No, I got in to the Christoph's house. I could smell those freaking croque monsieurs. I mean, there's some serious cooking going on downstairs, which I thought that was my job, to bring a few canapes, a few finger sandwiches. If you're in England, I'll be serving you cucumber and salmon sandwiches now with no crust on there, because I know you don't want to put any weight on. And you've got no love handles.
Well, we're working on that. Just keep that smell, and we're going to get it back. But here's the thing. I've walked in this house hundreds of times in the past. I've never had that kind of aroma coming from the kitchen of which the children have been cooking. But you walk in.
See? A croque monsieur is basically a posh name for cheese on toast.
Yeah.
We have mashed potatoes. The French have pomme puree. They just come up with such glamorous names for mainstream dishes.
As long as it's how it tastes, it's how it sounds.
We have hamburger. You have meatloaf.
That's a good point. We can probably come down a whole bunch of categories how it sounds better. But Jay, let's get into Gordon.
You guys
yeah, I know. We could be here all day.
It's Superman here.
I do have a knack for the linguistics. But what are we going to get into with Gordon? How are we going to break him down?
I want to touch on three things.
Please.
Okay, three simple things.
Please.
But everyone, we don't need to know about Gordon the chef, and that's out there. That's the whole world knows about that. So we'll do a little thing on that. But mainly, let's start with Gordon the athlete.
Yes.
Let's tell the audience about Gordon the athlete. Started off.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Unfortunately, my father died at 53 with a heart attack. So that's reminiscent on a daily basis in terms of setting the example for the family and customers alike. I was a fat chef once, out of control, 18 stone, 320 pound.
320 pounds.
I achieved my goal in terms of 3 Michelin star, which was what I strived to do as I got into my own business. That became a little epicenter. I started running marathons to get away from the hectic lifestyle.
But let's back up for a second. When you were a kid, what was Gordon Ramsay doing as far as sports?
Soccer and swimming. Okay. Yeah, my dad swam for Scotland. He was an amazing backstroke, a 50 meter, and we grew up in the pool. We swam before school, we swam after school, we attended all the galas, and we were, incredible sprinters. That side of my family were all water polo players. Funny enough, today, Jack and Matilda, our son and daughter, are water polo players. So I grew up with that kind of sporting background. Right. Started trialling at Glasgow Rangers from the age of 15, spending summer there at a professional club. At the age of 17, huge injury in my cartilage. Smashed my cruciate ligament, denounced, kicked out the team, and what do you do? I got into catering as a way of it was like an easy exit to hide the hurt from soccer. So I was frustrated. One thing I never wanted to do was get bitter. I wanted to get even, and that even trail was in a kitchen. And then I found myself in this boisterous, exciting environment that I had no idea what I was doing, but I was determined to learn from the best.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pull you back from that a second and still come back to the kid.
Sure.
The kid that was out there swimming and playing football,
Yes.
as we know it.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Now
Yes.
Soccer.
With no pads. Helmet.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was full on. Also, my parents smoked. And I couldn't stand that smoke, and so I spent more time outdoors than I did indoors. And growing up in Stratford-on-Avon, we had swimming clubs, rugby club, football club, tennis club, and every day there'd be something on sportive. So
very, very active all throughout your childhood.
Yes.
So at some point, and I went and did a little Gordon Ramsay running check here.
Right.
Gordon, 2001, the first London Marathon.
Yes.
How many marathons have you run?
So with the London and LA, I think combined it's 15, and I think it's 3 comrades. But my first London Marathon was a disaster. I got back, it was dark. I got back, mile 21, and the hippopotamus was overtaking me. And then I got back to sort of mile 24, and someone threw me a sports bra for my boobs. And then I got to mile 25, and they were still screaming, "You're not so hard now at mile 25, are you?"
Yeah. You got the sweeper behind you.
And there you go. And all of a sudden, congratulations, the marathon's just about to start with 1 mile to go. So, yeah, I was in pain. I think it was 5 hours.
Yeah, a little under 5 hours.
Was it?
But the next 3 years later, you ran again, 3:30.
Yes.
So you must have shaved off a lot of weight.
I did. Yeah. That was it. That was the calling, because it took me out of that crazy environment of the work, being consumed and being super busy, that I had no time. So I needed clawback time.
So how old were you in 2001?
So I was
first?
33 when I first started.
So 3 years later, so you went from 2001 to 2004, went from 4:57 to 3:30, an hour and a half faster.
Yeah.
You've run, look at this, Jim. The guy has run 6 marathons in the 3:30 to 3:45 range.
Yeah, you made that huge jump. That's an hour and a half you made in 3 years. Was that due to training, just learning how to train, losing some weight, kind of put it all together?
It was a combination of not getting swallowed up in the success, getting away from the busy, hectic, sort of, manic, tough side of that business, and just getting time to myself. It was a 2-hour break in the afternoon from 3 till 5. While the guys were out having a bite to eat, I was in a gym training. And that's what got me where I am today, I think, because the busier I got, the running wasn't sufficient to claw back sufficient time to breathe. When everyone says, "How do you relax?" my way of relaxing was running an Ironman.
Right.
And when I met Jerry, 6 years ago, in 2013, first thing he said to me, "What's the ambition?" I said, "Kona." And Jerry said, "Are you joking?" I said, "No. Look, I'm not qualifying. 25% of the field don't qualify because it's a charitable place. Right. However, I just dreamt of competing in an Ironman, and that time back to myself got my life in shape, and that was the important part."
So so you made the transition at some point from marathon running into triathlon?
Yes.
When was that?
So that was in 2012, where I started to.
So what was the hook? What made you?
The swim, because it was a time that had absolutely no interference. No one can get to you, no one can send you a message, no one can phone you, and it was just this amazing moment of very little impact. It was an amazing recovery, super fast, and I just got back to the happiness of my childhood, going to the baths and the swims every morning with my father, competing in galas, and it just got me back to that sort of happy space that I hadn't discovered for a long time.
Wow. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Kona?
Yeah, Kona.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, that was my first ever Ironman, which was, a quantum leap. But there's this extraordinary feeling when you're in the water, as 5:15 in the morning, waiting for the cannon to go off, and there's guys and ladies with legs and arms, amputees, being loaded into the water, and you're thinking about this nervous energy and this excitement, yet you're seeing this courage, this conviction, and this determination. One father was swimming with his son in a kayak, disabled young man that was being towed on a bike. And you just all of a sudden you think, what have I got to worry about? And that moment will stay with me for the rest of my life. The visibility was clear, 60, 70 meter visibility. And you could just, the conversations, I don't think you have
So who helped you through that? I think was that Will was involved as coaching you?
Yeah, Will Usher was amazing because he was a ex Special Forces in the police regiment. I met him when I went to do a documentary in a prison.
You may have met Will, by the way. Will came out to one of our Tau 26 sessions at the beach.
Yeah, I think I remember Will,
Yeah. And he was giving me some self-defense classes. And then all of a sudden I said, look, the ambition is to do an Ironman. He said, think again, your size, your shape, we need to shave. And he just put me through my paces. The connection with Tau 26 was on the website when I first got to LA and we were shooting, and I was looking for this incredible release of a swimming club. That's how I got to meet Jerry. So Will was instrumental of streamlining the training. And then it sort of didn't have an impact on the eating because I'm very fussy on what I eat. But the more I trained, the less I had to really worry about the eating.
Oh, yeah.
But chefs graze. We don't sit down and eat an appetizer, an entree and dessert. We taste 5 or 6 times a day, small bowls, and we don't sit down and eat properly. So eating that 5 times a day was far more beneficial through my training than it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It's funny he says that because the whole reason I do triathlon is so I can eat.
So there you go.
Just to burn those calories, just so I can just eat everything. And so that's why it's funny that we make this connection now, because I'm expecting us to be eating together from here on out. Just keep those calories coming in. It helps the training, right?
You want me to cook for you now?
Well, yeah, no, I didn't say that, but Jerry could use some extra calories. So let's say for him.
So it's 7, 8 years, and that's 6 years of triathlons?
Yes, right. Yes. Yeah.
And where are you at the moment?
It's an amazing release because there's 2 tries a year, every 6 months, and with 36 restaurants and 2,500 staff, and lucky enough to have shows in 120 different countries.
I think we got him beat in one department. Well, 151
country. Sorry about that. Well, now that he's on the show, they might tune in.
See, I need those 2 dates though. That discipline once every 6 months with a 70.3, or we're scheduled for Barcelona in October, pending injury, and so Will keeps a training program. If it's not Tau 26, it's Swift. If it's not Swift, it's a swim. And the minute I land somewhere, whether it's in the middle of Barcelona or Sydney, Australia, the first thing I'll do is go for a swim, because that's the great way of getting rid of jet lag. There's no impact, and the recovery is so much easier, and there's no big strain on the joints.
I think one of the important messages to deliver here is that, and we talked about this, Gordon, you might remember a few years ago down at the beach at one of our workouts when I asked your permission to introduce you to the group and talk about, and I asked, does anybody know the name Gordon Ramsay? And of course, most folks put their hands up, and then I pointed you out to the group, and folks didn't even know you were there.
No, we can't.
A couple hundred people around you going, oh wow. And we talked about the 17 years it took you to become an overnight success.
Yes.
From 19 years old, where you started off at the bottom and making your way up, week after week, month after month, year after year. But then people see the arrival. The audience sees an arrival. They see a guy on TV with great success.
Yes.
But most folks don't recognize the journey.
No.
And the thing about triathlon, it's the same thing. Many times we get this quite often. We have the local race here, the Malibu Triathlon. What happens 3 weeks before that race, Jim?
Oh, I need to get ready for the race. Can I come swim the Tower 26? Every year.
All the time.
Wow.
And here's the same here with you. Before you got into Ironman, you'd already done a dozen marathons.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You've been very, very active.
Yes.
Then you decided to go to the next step and add in a few other things, but they've been a long platform.
Sure.
And I think there's a big message in that. Success just doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It's a journey.
No.
Many, many, many steps.
Yes.
It's not an arrival.
Yeah. And also that level of connect on every step in terms of the consolidated workloads, the amount of ongoing, level of perfection that we aim. And with 3 Michelin stars, around your neck on a daily basis, it's very well getting there, but harder maintaining it. And so, I suppose it's like every gym. In January, memberships are flooded in. Last week in February, you don't see 50% of those. And so I have a healthy balance between that level of fitness now, and the fitter I am, the more active my mind is, because I've got time to sit and think. And even while swimming tomorrow morning, on the beach at Tower 26, and I'll be thinking of things. And if it's not there, it'll be on the bike. And I can sit and think and contemplate, and I get back and say, Justin, take this down. Katie, listen to this. And I'll offload 20 ideas, and they must think, what in the hell was all that about? So, tries and swimming and biking and running is my relaxing thinking time, because it's shaped me to be the person I am today.
Well, I got one little question for you since you brought it up about Michelin stars.
Yes.
We get caught up in the nuance of our industry with certain things and we don't explain it at times. What is a Michelin star?
That's a really good question. So,
In the most simplistic way.
yeah, it's a governing body that's a global guide that is about consistency and perfection. No one gets to meet them. You don't shake hands and have dinner with them 3 weeks later. You don't attend their son's bar mitzvah. It's a guide that is purely aimed for the customer. And we know in my business, customers are king. So 1 star is perfection, 2 stars a destinational journey, and 3 star, there is no better. So
that's the top of the mountain.
That is the top of the mountain.
So would that be equivalent to, in say in swimming, would that be equivalent to 1 star making a national team, 2 stars maybe breaking an American record,
That's
3
right.
stars breaking a world record?
Yeah, Olympic.
Top of the game?
Exactly that, on a yearly basis.
How many Michelin stars do you have?
So currently we have 7. We just opened up in Bordeaux in Paris, and we went straight to 2 stars in a month, 18 months. So I'm quite nervous the fact that if we ever get 3 stars, the French are going to come hunting me. Christophe especially, because British cooks.
I'm eyeing you down.
British cooks shouldn't have that reputation in France.
We have this competition going between the two of them because he's pissed about France winning the World Cup, and now we have there's going to be smack talk the rest of the show.
I suppose because England had an amazing. I mean, they put football back on the map. The country fell in love with them again. We have a great manager, but I think more importantly, we had such an amazing road to the finale, and the boys did us proud.
I'm going to pull you back in. Michelin stars, success, great food, athletics, triathlon. Now let's get right down to the needs of our audience. Mm-hmm. You represent, I believe, you happen to be the celebrity, but you are like many folks in triathlon. It's a driven personality, A-type, family, kids, off to school, drop them off, go to work, executive lifestyle perhaps, and trying to get in a number of hours during the day at some point for swimming, biking, and running. Maybe 1 sport one day, maybe 2 sports another day, and on weekends certainly trying to get all 3 in.
Yes,
it's time crunched, packed, food.
Yeah.
What do we do? Mm-hmm. Okay, because we want it to taste well.
Sure.
Okay, we want to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we don't have an hour to prepare a meal. So you come home in an evening from work or from a training session. Okay,
sure.
The day's been long. You need to spend some time with your family.
Absolutely.
That's important, guys.
Crucial.
Family time, critical. Okay. What do? We need to prepare a meal that's nutritious.
Yes.
That gives us foundation.
Yeah.
Manages the demands of the day. And we've done that throughout the day, but now it's the dinner time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. But there's an even greater balance behind the triathlon phenomenon, and that's the quality time spending together at an event with the family. So everybody in my family now have done sprints, Olympic, and tries. I convinced Tana 3 years ago for the foundation in London.
That's 70.3, right?
70.3.
Yeah.
And I said, Dan, I've got a great way of spending more time together. She was that. I said, we're going to go for a bike ride in Santa Monica. Here's your bike. Have a look at this. It's specialized. It's amazing. So what I was trying to say is finding that balance between eating well, eating quickly. Our Saturday Sundays at home is the indulgence. That's when we have the Sunday lunch, the Sunday dinner, and it's family time. So it's limited but quality. During the week on a Monday to Friday, I rely on a protein shake. I rely on a pureed fruit shake. We've cut dairy down by 30%. Very little cream, butter, cheese. We've gone into almond milk. We're using a lot of fresh pasta. We're using anchovies, sardines, omega-3 oils, salmon. We're using quite a lot of sort of quick, easy serving protein that can be done in for me, 6 or 7 minutes.
So give me a sample. One meal. You've come home. Tana's home. The kids are there waiting for you. Or you went swimming with Jack. You left the workout. You get home. It's 7 o'clock, 7:15, and everyone's going to participate and help prepare a meal. 15, 20 minutes. What would you do?
So last weekend, for instance, after I swim, we went up to the Malibu. I did a scrambled egg with some sourdough, turkey bacon. Lunch, we had a Caesar salad. And then for dinner, I did a spaghetti of anchovies chili with flake tuna. And that was it. Served in the middle, big bowl, beautiful salad, very little dressing, but great carbo load, great protein, and it was a nice balance. And then we have these little fig balls that we puree fresh figs and dates, and we blend them into almost like a sort of little shot block, and we run with those things, and it's our little boost.
How long does that take to prepare? That meal at nighttime that you do, the evening meal with the spaghetti, with all the...
Yeah, with tuna. For me, 7 minutes. For Jim, about an hour and 70.
Oh, you should see me in the kitchen. I'm throwing things around. I'm actually good at throwing a knife. I can talk that. But yeah, you're right. It's a little slower than
this is
the professional over here.
20 minutes. And I think that family style becomes so much more easier to execute because there's no plates. They help themselves. And the girls are a little bit more cautious about the portion size, so it's all in one beautiful family style bowl. There's a beautiful salad there. If it's not salad, it's fresh tomatoes, and they're just seasoned with lemon juice, salt, pepper, and so it's healthy. I mean, it is really healthy.
No, what I like you said is balance. You have a balance of nutrition. It's not you're not cutting anything out. Maybe you're cutting back on the dairy, like you said, but it's a balance of nutritional eating. Mm-hmm. It's not nothing that you're like no vegan. It's just smart
He's
eating.
also a grazer, from what I picked up.
Grazer, yeah.
No,
Constantly throughout the day.
It's exactly that. And our little go-to pleasures. So I've stopped the chai lattes, the cafe lattes, black coffee, peach tea, unsweetened, and so all that stuff is making a massive impact. If you're mainstreaming that and cutting down on dairy and training at the same time, you see a quick impact on your body.
Now, when you're 320 pounds, was it tough to look long term and say, okay, I'm going to get down to 200 pounds? Or, you're a slim 180 now, I can see. But, was it tough to look long term? Just take it day by day? How did you look through the...
Week by week. And for my birthday, on my 32nd birthday, Tana, my wife, bought me some weighing scales. Weighing scales and a calendar. And every Sunday, regardless, I had to freaking weigh myself.
I'm not going to give Tana my wife's number. Elizabeth did that. Remember, a few months ago, she brought me... She said, I have a present for you. And I thought, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
She brings me a scale with an app.
See, there you
Thanks,
go.
hon. Yeah, great.
This year with our twins, their mates were getting iPads, cars, holidays. Tana and I got them a place through Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital, a marathon place. So they both ran their marathon for their 18th birthday.
That's fun.
Well, good point. Could I wrap this segment up? Because I don't want to take too much more of the board's time. Can you talk about that foundation that you and Tana have? I mean, we chatted at the pool a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Just being on these triathlons, Jerry and Jim, and seeing those that aren't as fortunate as we are and seeing what they're running for on those causes, we set up a foundation at the Great Ormond Children's Hospital in London. And so we on the verge of hitting our first £1 million, and every pound we raise is matched by the government. So sadly, those children that go into that amazing hospital are in there 6-7 months at a time. So with 4 healthy, blessed kids, they spend time at the hospital as well throughout the year. They participate in all the events and they understand how fortunate they are. So this foundation is crucial. Every event, whether it's Kona, Barcelona, Staffordshire, everything we do goes into that foundation. When I signed my new contract with Fox, part of that signing on fee went to the foundation. So everything we get generously goes into that foundation.
And if somebody wanted to contribute or be a part of that, how would that?
Yeah, we have a big sprint triathlon coming up in 2 weeks' time in London, the London Triathlon. We have about 350 runners in the Gordon and Tana Foundation for Great Ormond Street. It's an amazing hospital, great website. If you could go and visit and just check out what they do, it's breathtaking.
That's great. So we'll put the link into our show notes. So anybody who's interested, they can find out more and donate there. But that's some exciting stuff. It's been great having you.
Likewise.
On
Can I come back?
Episode. You're regular now. I'm saying you passed, but we'll see how you do on the workout of the day. See, you weren't there swimming this morning, so
tomorrow morning I'm going to.
You know what? I'll have a private lesson for you 11 a.m. tomorrow morning after the ocean swim. We'll put you through this workout because the workout of the episode is a tough one. Go to coaching.tower26.com. Oh, one more thing. If you want to find Gordon Ramsay, go to Fox pretty much any night of the week. He's on there, right? So Twitter, Facebook, look up Gordon Ramsay. You got it all on there. But coaching.tower26.com for the details of the workout of the episode. Jerry, you want to run through that real quick?
Well, we're going to drive people to the website because we're a little time crunched here. But this is a workout that we did, you guys, about a week and a half ago. And we do this at this time of the year. We do it a couple of times during the season. It's during the race season. And the reason we do this, it's because many times going to races, a couple of things can happen. Either you didn't plan really well, or for whatever reason, you're late to the race and you've missed a warm-up. Additionally, as you know, Jim, which is a big pet peeve of mine, many races are either allowing very little warm-up opportunity or no warm-up whatsoever, which blows my mind for a competition. So you get to your event and you have no warm-up. So what we do is we build in simulation into our training where we show up at the pool. I don't tell our members what day it is, and they show up and then they get an announcement that today is sort of a time trial day with no warm-up. And we go right into a 20-minute time trial. So that was the main set of that session, 20 minutes, and then we had some pulling after, and then there's some more details to that, so you can go to the website to get that, because we got to wrap the show up here. So
there we go, coaching.tower26.com for more info on that one. Remember, we're going to get the questions of the episode, gry@tower26.com, or you can write Gordon at his email address and ask the question there. If you want to ask about nutrition, right? Hey, Coach, I love the podcast. Now looking forward to the YouTube spots and our Facebook Live. I'm a 62-year-old woman who decided to do my first sprint triathlon 2 years ago to celebrate turning 60. I could barely swim. I tried a master's group, but they weren't set up for someone like me who needed more individual instruction. I switched to a sports-specific local coach and found wonderful Tracy Hendershot. With her, I got the on-deck coaching, correction, support I needed. In the first year of working with her, I have my race time in my A race. I love listening to you guys because I learn even more. I love the podcast about presence. I thought it was valuable and on point. In fact, I've written the 4 principles you mentioned: frequency, consistency, dedicated focus, and presence on my blackboard in my condo. I am super happy that you are not ending the podcast.
All right, Gina, and that's from Gina, whose name you sort of ran over there rather quickly.
I'm just trying to get through this because I'm waiting for some of those eggs on toast from Lola downstairs.
So Gina, thank you.
Gina from Columbus, Ohio. Sorry about that.
For the compliment, and appreciate it very much. And look forward to having you on the plan when time permits for you.
So, Jerry, let's cut the questions there. We got to get off the air real quick.
We have to get off. Could we take one question here from Jeremy? Because I think this will take 30
Jeremy
seconds.
Waddle. Hey, Coach. For racing this weekend, which there are a lot of people racing Santa Rosa 70.3, skip the dues and Ironman Canada. Skip the dues and get right into the main set? Question mark.
So, Jeremy, dues means deck ups. I want to broaden that out a little bit for you, Jeremy. Skipping the deck ups. Anytime an athlete asks about skipping something, the question we need to ask, if that has been in your routine, okay, then it's something that you may not need to skip if you're very adapted to it. Secondly, you have to ask, is this an A race, a B race, or a C race? And of course, if it's a C race, you keep doing it. If it's a B race, likely you'll still do it. If it's an A race, then you have to decide how much you scale back. In this case, you've been doing deck ups. I think you can continue to do them this week right into your race.
Don't change anything, buddy. Thanks for writing in. Remember, write GERY@tower26.com. Jared, what are we going to talk about next episode?
Finally, we need to get in our 2 workouts that we've promised, the 2 open water sessions that we've been promising our audience for this time of the season.
Tune in then about 2 weeks from now. Gordon, we look forward to having you back.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot for coming in.
Been a blast. Thank you.
And
Thank
Jerry?
you for coming.
Not so good.
Yes. Oh, it's video now, so you have to see the handshake. So.
I'll see you in the morning, bright and breezy.
Yes. Bright and breezy. All right, guys. For Jerry Rodriguez, Gordon Ramsay, this is Jim Binsky, the Tower 26 B Race Ready Podcast.